you really need to get clear on why you're doing this, because it sounds like that woo-woo fluffy thing of like, oh, why are you doing this? But really it's so powerful to connect with your vision, to connect with your purpose. Because in those difficult times, that's what keeps you going. I would also say that so many people let perfectionism hold them back. And in business, the way you move forward is by taking messy action. And nobody has it all together at the best of times, but especially, you know, when you're in those first few years of business, you're really growing your visibility, you're growing your authority, your credibility in the space, you're growing your income. It really is messy action beats perfectionism, because first of all, perfectionism doesn't exist, but it really is about taking that messy action, just knowing like, I need to do, and it's by doing that I progress forward, that I see results, and also doing is what builds your confidence.
Hey friends, welcome to Right Off Track, your favorite entrepreneurial resource where we dive into the mindset, strategy, and purpose of entrepreneurs around the world who are sharing their real stories and insights with you. I believe that we all have a unique purpose in life, and that embracing our unique and special journey will help uncover that. If this helps you on your journey, I so welcome your support as we grow and improve this channel. Join us, subscribe. I promise you, I'm fully dedicated to making this work better every step of the way. So share your feedback, subscribe, share with a friend, and let's go on this adventure together right off track. Enjoy this episode. Going off track is
taking a chance on yourself.
Following your pulse of curiosity.
It's making your own decisions.
The most wonderful adventure.
Hey friends, welcome to another adventure with Right Off Track, your favorite entrepreneurial podcast where we dive deep into transformative minds of purposeful entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Anya Smith, and today we're peeling back the curtain on what it truly means to build a business that's a reflection of your personal gusto and tenacity. In this episode, you'll get the insider's edge on turning your vibrant personality into your business's greatest asset. We're talking about crafting a personal life that's as distinctive and authentic as you are, attracting clients who don't just pay the bills, but also spark joy and respect your boundaries. Prepare to jump in for a chat with Grace Lancer, the energizer who's daring us to be bold and ballsy while guiding us to fill the bank. Welcome to the podcast, Grace. So excited to have you here.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me as well. I'm so excited for this chat and to share everything that I can teach to your audience.
And Grace, I saw your work on LinkedIn first and foremost, and it just caught my eyes because you were so radiant and authentic and ballsy, everything true to the description. And I'm curious, was it that always the case that you were just feeling vibrant and confident on LinkedIn, or was there a little bit of process to get there?
So like with any platform, especially when you're building from scratch, there is that finding your feet and finding your voice. Now, what I will say is I'm a middle child and I have always been an outgoing, rebellious person. So it's not like, you know, this loudness, this outspokenness has come from nowhere. It has always been my personality. But I really took it into the workplace where I worked for 4 years at a HR tech company. And for the first 2 years, I was really celebrated. I was hired for my personality and because I was a really great culture fit. And then 2 years in, we moved offices. And with that came all the red tape and more of a corporate mindset. And I all of a sudden wasn't celebrated. And that was really difficult for me. And the eternal optimist that I am, well, it transcended into a very toxic workplace by the end. And being the optimist that I am, when I then started my business a couple of months after leaving my job, I said, you know what? I'm so excited to go out there and be myself and be the person that they told me that I couldn't be or made me feel like I couldn't be. And it was a struggle. It was hard because I'd really had this narrative directly and indirectly drilled into me during my job that, you know, I wasn't worthy of being given a pay rise, a promotion. I wasn't given a promotion because it wouldn't look good to higher management. I was constantly told, you really need to think about how you're being perceived in the office. And like with anything, the more you hear that, the more it really embeds into your mind. And I was really excited to show up as myself. And I really found it difficult. And I overthought everything. I thought, should I do this? You know, if I do this, will people take me seriously? If I really show off my personality, do people think I'm not professional enough or corporate enough? And it held me back for a while. And I would say it probably took me a good 6 months to really, really fully embrace myself and have a pep talk with myself and say, you need to be the leader leading these other people. So you need to do it yourself.
That's a strong reflection to have. To be transparent with you, I was at Meta for 7 years. In the last couple of years, I got passed down for three promotions in a row, where I was told, like, here's the goal you need to hit, and if you hit it, I think we're on track to be. I'm like, okay, cool, I got this. I'm gonna do it, make it happen. Like, oh no, you're just not quite there right over here. I was like, it was starting to mess with my mind.
Yeah.
With like, oh, I am not good enough for these arbitrary limits, where it's like this vague thing that they're perceiving. So it's really challenging. But you mentioned you were able to have a powerful reflection space and say, okay, in these 6 months, I'm going to own myself and figure out what I want to do from there. What gave you like that space, or like what was your mindset about needing to create this space for yourself to go somewhere different?
I am by nature a very deep reflector, which is very funny because I'm a massive extrovert, and people, not that we put labels on things and put people into boxes, but it's normally that deep reflection is more apparent usually in introverts. But I love walking, and I use my walks endlessly, hours throughout the day, to really reflect on life and myself and where I'm going and my journey. And I think it really was just that process of constant reflection of asking myself, like, who do I really want to be online? And like with anything, your confidence grows as well. The more you do something, the more you put yourself out there, the more you get good responses from people in your community. And for me, that was the thing, that the more I gave a little bit of who I was, people were like, oh my goodness, I love your energy, I love who you are. And when you get that reinforcement, it reinforces you, like, to continue doing it. I'm showing up for people who really value what I bring to the table. And that was something that, as I mentioned, during those last 2 years of my job, my personality, like me, I wasn't celebrated as much, and that was very difficult. So it was really nice to be in a position where people did start to value my personality, the thing that caused me a lot of havoc in the corporate world. So it's more just a learning, a journey, reflection along the way, asking myself, like, who do I want to be for the people I want to attract to my brand and my business, and just that slow confidence building as you put yourself out there more and you grow an audience, a community.
And what I love about that is that you had the challenging situation, and not only did you find space for reflection, but you also decided to do something of your own. So what was that process transitioning from your job to then this next step? Like, how did you define it and execute it?
In terms of,
so you weren't happy where you are in the HR company. What happened after this reflection point? Like, how did you make changes to do something different?
Oh yeah. So funnily enough, so I left my job in November 2019, and in March 2019, I was at a family event and I was talking to my cousin, and it was a year before I left my job. So something around at the end of 2018, where I was like, I really can't take this anymore. It was the beginning of the end, and I was applying for other jobs to try and leave and find something, but I just couldn't bring myself to apply for any of the jobs because I was like, I just don't want to go back into another job. It's just not me, not even necessarily the company, although it was, but it just doesn't fit my personality to be in this caged 9-to-5 environment. So I started looking at everything that I could do, like drop shipping, multi-level marketing, coaching. And I didn't really know anything about coaching. And I came across a Facebook ad, and it said, like, are you a coach? And I was like, that's not me. That's nothing to do with me. And then a couple of months later, I was at a family event with my cousin, and I was telling her everything I wanted out of a job and a career and to have my own business. She was like, why don't you do coaching? And I said, it's really funny you mentioned that. I have no idea what it is, but I've been targeted with ads that I haven't bothered to click through because I'm like, I'm not a coach. What is it? And so after that chance meeting with her, I then researched some coaching certification programs. And then it actually took me another couple of months before I actually took the plunge to enroll. And I enrolled into a company based here in the UK, in London, because I saw an ad for a free coaching 2-day weekend that they were doing in central London. And I said, let me go along to it. I'll see what it's about. And by the end, I was totally sold. And I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I did that started in July 2019, and it did take a good year to do, but I actually left my job in November 2019 because it had got to the point where it had turned into such a toxic environment where my mental health was really suffering because of it. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So I quit my job, and I knew that I had to make something work from my coaching business. And yeah, so from that, I invested into a program helping me set up my online coaching business. And then it was actually about 5 or 6 months later that I ended up launching. So it was a pandemic business. It happened, in COVID times, all that 3.5 years ago now, if we can remember that. But I just decided that 9 to 5 life wasn't for me. And I think I've always known that. But I tried to go along with, no, you need a job. This is what society says that you should do. And I went along with it for a while. And for a while I was happy. And then I wasn't happy. And I said, I need to change this and do something that lights me up and makes me more fulfilled. And that was coaching.
That's amazing. I love how in some ways unpredictably things lined up, right? Little steps, little universe intuition points or something like that about coaching, about like maybe motivating you to get out something that wasn't right for you. It's very interesting how like the pieces come together. And so now you took the certification, you're launching your online business. What was that starting point like launching your own business? What were some of the key learnings that you want to share with others?
Oh, goodness. I started my business on Instagram. So now LinkedIn is my main driver of business. I came over onto the platform only a year and a half ago, but absolutely loved it. I don't have any affiliates for LinkedIn. It sounds like I do, but I totally recommend people to be on it for business. I'm a big fan. But I started on Instagram because that's what everyone said you should do. And I said, okay, cool. Like, I like Instagram. I use it for business. And so I started building up a bit of a presence on Instagram about, I think it was something about 2 months before I officially launched. I had no idea how to talk about sort of properly launch your services, go through a launch. And I put it out there to the world in one post and genuinely thought that I would have the floodgates would open and I would have this flood of inquiries come in. And I had nothing, like most people, if you first launch and don't know how to do it properly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know it yourself. And it was also because of being the coaching program that I was in at the time. This coach had clearly been very successful, set up a business 4 or 5 years prior. And she was saying, it took her 4 months to reach a 10K month. And she said, even with that, I was really disappointed and I wanted it to happen sooner. So I really had this mindset, like a lot of people do now, where social media paints this image of overnight success really being a thing. It's easy, just start, building a presence on social media and, put an offer out and everyone will jump into it. And it just wasn't the reality. And when that happened, I lost a bit of confidence in my business. I was like, wow, this is really going to be a lot harder than what I think it is going to be. And I slogged away for 3 months after I had that launch post. And it took me 3 months to sign my first client. And when I officially launched, I said, I'm going to do a 3-month coaching program for £2,500. And then when no one bought, I lost all confidence and I dropped my rates to rock bottom and what I perceived to be rock bottom. And I signed my first client on a 3-month package for £699, which was a significant decrease from what I initially went out there with. But, it's a journey in business. And at that point, apart from some free testimonials, which weren't really targeted to business, I didn't really have any proof of concept with my coaching. So it was great. This client, she really liked me and she wanted to work with me. So we got some good results together. But yeah, if I look back on my coaching journey and what I could recommend to people is to really get out there and do market research before you launch anything. Market research, you probably hear everywhere the importance of doing it, but I cannot recommend it enough. I say it to my clients over and over again. If you're stuck in business, get back out there and speak to your ideal clients and find out what they need help with. And despite being in this coaching program, they never taught us to go out there and do market research. You're never going to see success if you're guessing. So I could give multiple points, but that's the biggest one that I would give is before you launch anything, whether it's your core services, whether it's a new offer,
Mm-hmm.
get out there, talk to your audience, find out exactly what they're struggling with, what they need help with, what their goals are, what success looks like to them, what price point they pay, what their ideal solution looks like, and then take everything they tell you and create your offer and your marketing for that offer around that.
And would you have any tips around that key point about market research? Any favorite tools or anything that's helped you now that you know this to make that process more efficient?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people say to me, oh my goodness, who do I target with market research? So my advice is always go back out to people who you've got some form of relationship with. They're always going to be the easiest people to say, listen, do you mind helping me out? And most people in the online space, they are happy to help out because they realize that we all need help from other people. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
I always say to my clients, go for 8 to 10. You could do unlimited amount of market research, but go for 8 to 10 because a couple won't get back to you. And 8 to 10 gives a good enough spread to get the data that you need. Then reach out to people who you have some form of relationship with already. The third piece of advice is always, where possible, try and get people onto a call rather than just sending a link to a form, because first of all, that's a lot more passive. People get busy, they're likely not going to do it. If you get them on a call, not only do you get the answers there and then, but people go into a lot more depth. Once they start talking about things they're struggling with, they just open up, and they just say everything. And it gives you really good insight into your customer's mind. And then based on where they take their answers in the conversation, you get to ask more in-depth questions to really get inside the mind of your ideal client. And then the last point I would say for market research, although there are endless, but we're giving a few here, is a lot of people are happy to help out for free, but people are also busy and sometimes people need to be incentivized. So what I typically do, even now, is when I ask people for 30 minutes of time on a call for market research, I give them a 30-minute strategy call in return for helping out. So my advice would be, if you can offer something small as an incentive to get them on a call, then do it, because it also is, it gives you really good feedback. You can get another testimonial from someone about the impacts that a 30-minute strategy call gave them. So they would be my 4 tips for market research.
Oh, thank you so much. Those are so helpful. And I love that I love the point about distinguishing the reality versus, what we see on social media. So right now, if you go on Instagram, there's so many ads like, okay, I made $1 million without any sales calls. And it was so easy in my first month while sleeping. And so the mindset, like to your point, can be very challenging when your reality doesn't meet some of those expectations. So I'm curious, how did you cultivate that resilience? I know that we mentioned some of that is just your natural energy, that, power and grace. But how did you keep having this resilience when things were not showing up the way you wanted them to be?
Yeah, so the first answer is not helpful, which is just that it's just the way I am. So we won't use that as an answer if you are not necessarily that way inclined and you need to hone it a bit. So then my other answers would be, you really need to get clear on why you're doing this, because it sounds like that woo-woo fluffy thing of like, oh, why are you doing this? But really it's so powerful to connect with your vision, to connect with your purpose. And as I've said, to connect with why you're doing this, because in those difficult times, that's what keeps you going. When you're like, I am doing this because I want to insert whatever it is. I want to change lives. I want to really live with more freedom. I want to make loads of money so that I can grow my business and actually help more people. So connecting with that vision of where you see your business, your main motivations, and why it's so important to you, remind you in those difficult times, no, I'm having a down moment, but this is really why I'm doing it. And this is bigger than this moment, where I'm having a momentary bit of, turmoil or something like that. So that's the first thing I would say, is getting clear on, why you're doing this and your purpose. But I would also say that so many people let perfectionism hold them back. And in business, the way you move forward is by taking messy action. And nobody has it all together at the best of times. But especially, you know, when you're in those first few years of business, you're really growing your visibility, you're growing your authority, your credibility in the space, you're growing your income. It really is messy action beats perfectionism, because first of all, perfectionism doesn't exist. Something it could be the most perfect that you think it is, but there will always be something that could be made better. And so it's really about, and sorry to be repetitive, but it really is about taking that messy action, just knowing like, I need to do, and it's by doing that I progress forward, that I see results. And also doing is what builds your confidence. You get out there and you do something and you're like, okay, cool, it didn't go to plan, but like I've done it now, so I feel so much more confident doing it again. And the messy action is what allows you to learn as well, so that you can implement better the next time.
Absolutely. And Grace, what is your why? You mentioned having that clear why, and clearly you had to go through some challenges. What was your why?
If we take it from a couple of different angles, because I do see it as a few different angles. So I have my personal why for why I want to do this, but then also the impact that I want to have. So for me, I kind of define them as two different things. So my why for myself is that I was in an environment that had a rigid structure where my creativity and my personality was suppressed, where I felt like I couldn't be myself. And I wanted something of my own where I could really make more money, despite always being told, you know, you're not going to get more money, you're not going to get a promotion because you don't fit this mold of what we want you to be. I'm doing this for myself to prove to everyone else who said that I couldn't do it, you know, I can, and I'm successful, to make more money than I could ever have made in a corporate job where you do have a capped salary, because ultimately you're working towards someone else's dream, and to have freedom and flexibility to really create my dream life. From the other side of the client side, the other way that I see it is I am an extrovert. I love working with people. I love, you know, forming connections with people. And the one part that I did like about my job is I was in a client facing role, and I really loved working with my clients and building those relationships. And so from the work perspective of why I'm doing this, I just have this greater desire to help people, to inspire people, to motivate people to make radical change in their life, and to help other people really create their dream life, to really go after what they want, so that they don't have to live with regrets. So that's my own biggest fear, is getting to the end of my life and saying, I just wish I would have done all this stuff that I never had the courage to do. And it's really something I think, as I said, I'm a reflector. It's something I really think deeply about, is I just don't want that. And so many people get to the end of their life and have regrets about things that they didn't do, they had fear to do, they felt like they didn't have the time to do. And I just want everybody, as many people as possible, to really live the most fulfilling life for them, so they get to the end of their life and say, I smashed my life and I did everything I ever wanted to do.
Mic drop.
But yeah, literally, yeah, that's
I'm out.
I love that.
It's a positive reminder. When we're in the thick of it, it can be challenging to see like something good can come out of this. When we're struggling, when we're low, when we're feeling caged, it's hard to say, oh, this is a really good thing for me right now. But to your point, sometimes that can be a really good catalyst for change, where we reflect back and say, nope, I don't want to go back to this. I'm going to do something different for me. I'm really defining who I am and what serves me in those moments. So it's a good reminder, wherever you're at, even if you're facing those challenges, changing your perspective to see that this could be a reflection point
100%.
for what something that's not serving me can be very powerful.
Exactly. And everybody has, whether in business, whether in life, those move towards motivators and you'll move away from motivators. And again, one of my reasons is I know how unhappy I was in a 9-to-5, and it is about, you know, people having that courage. But I was so miserable, and for so long I couldn't see a way out because I didn't know what to do or how to do it. And all these beliefs that people have that I had, you know, oh, to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have a product. That was a thing that I thought that everybody else apparently thinks. And I was like, it's random, you know, well, you have to be in the right place at the right time, or you have to have contacts. And it stopped me moving forward with something for years because I just thought, I just don't know how to do it. And it's really about giving a voice and being a leader to those 9 to 5 rebel people, even though my ideal client is not in a job, they are full-time in their business, but so that they never have to go back to a job, because that's unfathomable for me. And I just want everybody to be in a position where if they don't want to go back to a 9 to 5, they never have to do it.
I applaud that. We only have one life, and we are so many times waiting for the future to start living when really we're not promised that. So it's important to think about what's not serving me right now and how even today I can serve myself a little bit better to live that life, every day, be more true to myself. And on that point, you were mentioning here you have a client and it sounds like it went great, but you were charging a little bit less than you wanted to originally. Some of that confidence was lost originally. What changed to where you went from charging lower to now being this example, like, charge what you're worth, my friend? How did that transformation happen?
So that didn't happen overnight. I'm sorry if people want to say that there was this, magic cure and overnight.
Darn it.
It happened. So I apologize if that's the story that you want, but it was gradual. So for every client that I had in the early stages, I put my rates up a little bit more. So I started with 699, and then I think I jumped up to 999, and then I think the next one was something around 1299. So with every client with a little bit more social proof, I gradually edged it up. And then in 2021, I worked with my first one-to-one coach, and I really, over a 6-month period, saw success in my business. And, things were going well. And then after 6 months, we finished working together. And I thought, I can do everything by myself now. And I actually shared this in a post this morning about on LinkedIn about my 3.5-year journey. And in 2022, it was a very, put it into perspective, but for business compared to before, it was a bad year for me, because I moved over to Tel Aviv and, taking my digital nomads business, digital nomading. And for me, I was like, I just want to live a fun life and settle into a new city and go out and make friends and do cool things and date people. And I really neglected my business because of it. And because I didn't do all the necessary work and I didn't have clear direction and I didn't know what I was doing, people were not buying from me. And I really lost confidence in my business last year. And I then started putting my rates down again. And people would come to me, and depending on how much I needed the sale or what I thought they could afford, I just was fluctuating my rates depending on what day it was. And it was really bad. It did nothing for my confidence and my self-doubt. And how that then changed is at the end of last year, 2022, I said, I can't go on like this. So I got a load of people on the call to do market research, as we've already spoken about. And I created a new coaching program that was, it got 5 spots sold, and I was really happy with that. And it was a really good injection, a confidence injection. But that coaching program wound up being a lesser investment than what I was charging in 2021. So I finished 2022 charging lower rates than what I'd been charging the previous year. And, that it's all part of the journey. You learn a lot, but that wasn't good for me. So at the beginning of this year, I just said, things need to change. I'm not messing around anymore. And since then, I hired a one-to-one coach at the beginning of this year because I was just ready to stop messing around in my business and really make this the year of going for it. So that's the gradual journey. And also, I will say to everyone, a big part in really helping me to raise my rates was paying out a lot of money, investing, should I say, into this one-to-one coach at the beginning of this year. It was a significant investment per month, but I was ready to do it. And I thought, if I have the confidence, if I can see the worth, the value in paying someone that, someone can see the value in paying me that.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for showing up as just a genuine human being and just constantly showing the real side of the process. I think it's so important for people to remember that, so that we're not always bombarded to our previous point about just the glamour and everything's easy, because then we have this silent struggle for people who don't match up to that.
Yeah.
Unreal expectation. And so you're providing a lot of value to all of us, sharing the real side and the real journey here. And from what I've learned from all the entrepreneurs of energy is that coaching is a huge part. Most of the most successful people I know have a coach, and to see the invaluable investment it is to invest in yourself, because it's accountability, it's the confidence, it's that you think that you are worth it at that point. And even if that price really scares you a little bit, you think it's worth it. But in your experience, how do you find the right coach? Whether it's you being the right coach for them or you working with the right coach?
Mm-hmm. So on both occasions when I've hired a coach, it was for more or less the same reasons. So 2 years apart. So the first coach that I hired in January 2021 is she was just showing off showing off in a good way, all of this success that she had achieved in her business. And I am somebody that really buys into, if someone is showing me that they are achieving what I want to achieve, I'm sold. Because I am impatient in business, and I don't need, some people do, and there's nothing against it, but I am not someone that needs loads of nurturing. I don't need someone to show me in their content that they get me. I would say, like, I honestly don't believe that I'm like the typical buyer. I don't need to see content about pain points that shows you understand me. I just see someone who's doing what I want to do, and I say, you're doing it, therefore you can help me achieve the same. So on both occasions, I understand, as I said, everyone buys in different ways, but that has always been the buying reason for me. Is I want to get somewhere, and I want to hire someone who can collapse time for me and help me achieve the same. Therefore, I'm going to hire someone who's doing what I want to do. And so for me, that's, if I could give advice to people, that is what I would advise, because that's how I buy, is ask yourself before you invest into a coach, like, what does your vision look like? Sometimes I understand that people hire the coach because they don't know what the vision looks like. But if you can just get a little bit of clarity first on, what are your goals over the next 12 months? Like, do an exercise. Let me give people a question, is when you're looking at goal setting, you need to go into the future first. So I say 12 months ahead, and really paint the ideal view for you. So ask yourself, what does success without limitations in an ideal world look like to me 12 months down the line? And go big. Don't hold yourself back. This is ideals. Whenever you goal set, you have to look at ideal situations, and then reel it back to say, okay, that's my goal 12 months from now. They're my goals 12 months from now. What are the steps that I need to take to get there? So then you start listing out all of the steps. Then once you've got the steps, say, let me order these steps into order of importance and what I need to do first. Now let me take that first step. Within that first step, where am I at on a scale of 1 to 10? How will I know when I'm just one small step up the scale? And then that becomes your focus for the week. And then every week you do that so that you're moving up the scale 1% every single week. So yeah, we've not gone off topic there, but that's what I would do first, is get clarity on what are your goals, and then hire someone who is aligned with the thing that you want to create. So if you want to launch your own events, then hire someone who's launched their own events and knows how to do it. If you want to make more sales, then that could be a number of different things, but then hire a sales coach, hire someone who can help you make more money. If you're struggling to convert clients at the moment, hire someone who helps with conversion. If you're struggling to, position yourself correctly in the market to attract higher paying clients, then find someone that helps with brand positioning. So it's all about hiring someone who aligns with what your vision and what your goals are.
And as you mentioned earlier, coaching can be a big investment in yourself. And how do people decipher through all the noise, through all different options, even in similar fields? There's just, sometimes it can be overwhelming starting. Maybe are there any tips for taking advantage of the information that's out there to find this coach is really the best person for me, or even that intro call that most people offer? Like, how do you take advantage of that to make sure that it's the right fit for both sides?
Mm-hmm. So as I said, for me, not the typical buyer. So I'll give you an example. Like with the first coach that I hired in 2021, I had been following her on Instagram for a while, and I really liked her. She was like very no BS, very straight to the point, like, which is very much what I'm like in business. And I followed her for months, but at the point that I started following her, it's not that I needed nurturing for months, but I just wasn't at the point where I was ready to invest when I started following her, because I was already in another group coaching program. So when the time came, I was like, she's the one I want to work with. I'd seen all of her content. I saw her personality. I was like, I really like this person. She put up good client results as well. So I was like, I can see that she actually delivers. And then with my coach at the beginning of this year, we connected. And within a month, I was like, I want to work with you. And I'd seen him around the comments section of a lot of LinkedIn accounts because he's got a very recognizable, like a color on his headshot, his background color. And I was like, who's this guy? And then I went to his LinkedIn page and he had a little voice note. And I was like, oh my goodness, I love his energy. Like he just has this really magnetic energy that I feel very drawn towards. And then I ended up going to one of his events in January. He put on an event. That's why I hired him, because I wanted to start my own events this year. And at the event, I was just like, he's just great. Like that, his personality is great and he's just achieving amazing things. I want to work with him for those two reasons. And so after the event, I messaged him and I said, I really loved the event. It was great. I really want to explore working with you. And then I was sold. So what I would say to people, if you're going out there, is start following people whose content you really like, whose personality you like, whose values align with your values, who's doing something currently that you want to do that aligns with your own bigger vision. And then start building rapport with them. Start commenting on their content and seeing how they content back, like how they comment back. Go and start a conversation in the DMs. For a lot of people, it's very scary. They think they're going to be sold to, but the right fit people will never actually sell to you. If they do, then they're not the right people for you. People take the time to nurture first. So don't be scared of reaching out to the person that you're thinking about hiring either, and just start that dialogue, start that conversation. And then I would also say, if you're somebody that needs to see proof as well, ask them for testimonials if they're not already in their content. A lot of people do put out client results in their content, or especially on LinkedIn, you can go down to the bottom of people's profiles to see their recommendations. So go and check out what their clients, current and past, have to say about them and make your decision based on that.
Okay. And now, so you found this person. Thank you so much for all of this, because I think it's so helpful for people to have a sense of like how to find that right fit. And now you working with this coach, what have been some of the things you're most proud of 2023? And then if you want to share maybe some biggest learnings, changes that you've made to make those happen.
Yeah. So some of the biggest successes for me was starting and running my own events, in-person business events. So the kind of a combination of a panel with networking. So I've run 3 this year, one in Tel Aviv, one in London, one in New York, and they are going to be growing and going even more global, if that makes sense, next year, which I'm really excited about. So that was such a huge thing for me. I'm such an in-person person. I love networking and connecting with people and presenting. Quite frankly, that's the middle child in me. So I wanted to do that, and that's been massive success, starting and growing those and continuing to grow them. Also getting more clarity on what it was that I was offering, what I wanted to become known for from a business perspective rather than like a personal perspective, and launching offers, different multiple offers based around this to help more people. So that's been a massive thing for me, really going for it and really launching all these different short programs, long programs. That really built up a lot more confidence with launching and just going for it and detaching from the outcome and saying, I know the people who are right for this offer at this moment in time, they'll sign up. And if they're not, it's fine. My life moves on anyway. So they've been big things. And more than anything, re-raising my confidence to building my confidence even further to raise my rates again. And that has been pivotal. Investing, as I said, a large amount every month. 9 months of working with a one-to-one coach was my maths isn't very good, something in the region of $27,000 over 9 months.
Yeah.
So that right. I've invested a lot, and you can imagine when you invest that much, you really want to see a return. So actually having that confidence to say, as I said, if I can invest that in someone, they can invest it in me. So the confidence with being able to raise my rates and know that I'm worth it and not drop them has been amazing.
Oh, so excited. And curious, can you share some of your favorite programs? I know there's the 4-figure client converter, but is that your favorite program, or do you want to share any others for our audience?
Yeah, so that's an ongoing hybrid group one-to-one program, and I love it. I really love it. I love the work that I do with my clients in there. They've all seen incredible results, small results, big results, everything in between. The other programs that I've launched this year have been more one-off. So I've done a couple of different accelerators. So I've done 3. Well, I'm currently in the middle of my third 30-day accelerator. At the moment, I ran a one-off masterclass. I'm going to be launching some stuff for Black Friday, and then also in December, another masterclass. So they've all been more shorter term offers, but I really enjoy shorter term offers because it allows me to work with more people, and it's for an intense period of time. So there's more like excitement around it. And I've really come to love launching as well. I just love it. A lot of people hate it, but I just love it. It's so fun. So I don't want to say that 4-figure client converter is the favorite offer, but it's the ongoing one, that people can enroll into at any point. But I've loved every offer that I've done because it's all different work, and they all have specific different outcomes as well, helping people with different things.
Oh, beautiful. I'm excited for all these little things. I love the energy they genuinely have about the launches and all of that. And I'm excited for the Black Friday one that's coming up really soon here. And what have been maybe the most common pain points your clients have that you help them work through?
Yeah, so there are a couple. Some of the main ones when people come to me is, first of all, they keep hearing no's from clients and they want to learn how to convert better. So not getting the conversions that they want, not being able to confidently sell people on their services. The second biggest one is, my rates are low and I really want to raise my rates. But how can I do that when I keep hearing no's from people already? Like if I raise them, I'm going to get even more no's, which is actually a weird psychology thing. But actually, by raising your rates, yeah, a load of people drop off, but they were the wrong people for you anyway. What you find is when you raise your rates, you do attract fewer inquiries, but they're higher quality and more likely to convert. So people struggling to sell and convert, people struggling to raise their prices, and just generally lacking confidence with what they offer. They'll come to me and they'll say, I know that what I do is so powerful, but I'm not totally sure on what I'm selling and the one problem that I'm solving. So I've given those 3 points kind of in the wrong order, but doesn't matter. We'll roll with it. But that's it, is, how do I actually convey the value that I do so that I can confidently charge a lot of money for it and actually have people pay? So it's all about, and the work I do is all around helping people and businesses and these solopreneurs that I work with to really elevate their brand positioning and reputation in the market so they can actually confidently raise their rates and start working with higher paying clients who see the value in what they do and really want to work with them because they're ready for success.
And this might be secret, so you don't have to divulge, but is there maybe 1 or 2 common pieces of advice that helped your clients?
So I'll give you an example of a client because I really loved this learning. So one of this client, for this example that I have in mind, so she was the first client to join when it launched at the beginning of April. And at the time, she was on inconsistent sort of 3 to 5K months, charging an hourly rate, and didn't really have a lot to show for it. She felt really burnt out. She was putting in all these hours, and for a lot of people, it's, the dream, but just comparatively to what she's earning now, which I'll tell you, she was only making 3 to 5K a month. And so what we did is, the first thing we did is switched her to a 4-figure monthly retainer model. It's, it's really important to shift from this more of an employee mindset of charging per hour, what am I paid per hour, to actually being paid for the value that you're delivering, the transformation you're facilitating, and the ROI, the return on investment that you bring your client. So we switched her to a 4-figure retainer model that meant all of a sudden she was just being paid an amount, whether it took her 10 hours or 30 hours, it was an amount. And we had this conversation in the call recently that I think she said her first client, it was 3K a month that she charged. And what she said to me is, she'd said she'd had a really rough kind of 6 to 12 months beforehand with stuff in her personal life. And when it came to switching to this 4-figure retainer model, she said to me, I honestly just felt like I had nothing to lose. So I just said an amount and I thought, F it. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but that's what she said.
Go for it.
And she was just like, fuck it. I've got nothing to lose. I'm just going to give this amount, 3K a month for the retainer. And if they want it, amazing. And if they don't, and she said the thing there is she just detached from the sale, which is the biggest thing I advise all of my clients. When you hold on to leads, when you hold on to inquiries and sales really tightly, people feel that desperate energy and it scares them off. Whereas when you attach and you say to yourself, whether or not I sign this client, I'll be okay. You know, I don't need this client. A lot of people, they'll quit their job before they're, and by the way, this was me and I don't advise it. They quit their job before they're in a comfortable, more stable position in their business. And then they do hold on to sales very tightly because they do need the sale. Whereas the best way to win business is to detach from the sale, because then you go into conversations a lot more relaxed, being like, I'm just here to help this person. Whereas if you're trying to sell to them, people feel it. And so that's what she did. So to summarize, we switched from an hourly rate to a 4-figure retainer model that was delivered based on the value that she was delivering and the ROI. And she just detached from the outcome and she said, you know, fuck it, like I'm just going to go for it because this is what I want to charge. And people started saying yes, and then more people started saying yes. And with every client, I think now, based on, she's been signing clients like every single month over the 7 months we've been working together, and she's now up to retainers of, so they're like 6 or 7K a month that she's charging them. And she's built her income from 3 to 5K in consistent months to now 30 plus K months locked in on 12-month retainers. It's guaranteed income, minimum 30K, and every month she's adding more. And it's just a total transformation. And, you know, she's just transformed her life and her business.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Kudos to her. Way to be a badass. I love it. And I'm curious, so for somebody who's hearing this, so you have the retained model, you're like, okay, that sounds good. How do you then think about like how much support do you provide? You mentioned it's assessing the ROI that you're bringing through that model. But do you then like kind of find the time? How do you fine tune then how much support you're actually providing for the retainer? If you have any advice on that.
So it totally depends on the nature of your work. So of course, with coaching, for example, everybody has a different package, but I'll just tell you based on mine, people have 2 bi-weekly 60-minute strategy calls. So a strategy call every 2 weeks, and then Monday to Friday tech support in between, which a lot of my clients absolutely love, sometimes even more than the call, because it's that day-to-day interaction and contact that we have to really take their business forward, for the strategizing, accountability. So that's an example of like my coaching package. But people that do done for you services, then naturally the nature of the work is going to be more. So with this particular client, she focuses, her target audience are NGOs, and it's all about grant writing to help them fundraise more money. So she does have a done for you service where she's actually writing the grants for them. So I don't know the ins and outs of what she promises with each client, but you know, it's hands-on work that she's managed to outsource a lot of this now, because she's built her business to such high income months that she's taken on another grant writer to help her with the work. But it depends on the nature, because if you're a done for you provider where you provide, you know, you do the blog writing content, you do the social media caption content, then that's based on deliverables that you decide. You know, I'll write you 2 blogs a month, I'll write you 12 social media posts a month. It's coaching, you know, or consulting. Think about what that looks like, how much support you want to give someone. And I always say, if you want to charge premium, which is exactly what I teach my clients, what I help them do, then you need to give value to your offer. And I know a lot of people say, I do know people that do this, they offer coaching calls and then they have support in between, but they're like, you don't really want people to be using it. Well, I don't agree with that, because if I'm charging people a lot of money, I want them to feel supported. I want them to know that I'm proactively giving support. I'm checking in on them. I'm asking if they need any further feedback. You know, you want to roll out the red carpet for every single client and go above and beyond to deliver exceptional support and help them get their own results, because that's how they'll spread your name around.
Oh, I love that clarity. So for anybody listening, I hope it gives a little bit more context about how to shape that. If you're like, yep, that sounds really cool, here's how I can think about the retainer. And Grace, I've loved your energy throughout. It's been really inspiring. What I think has been true for my journey is that I'm gaining more confidence to show up with more conviction and confidence in myself versus like, oh, how will somebody else think about this? And I'm realizing that when, like you, we show up fully as ourself, our bold, ballsy self, we give other people permission to do the same.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, not thinking like, how should I be less to fit in or be like somebody else or my manager, but instead seeing that we're empowering ourselves and empowering others by being authentically ourselves. So it's a beautiful journey. But one other thing you mentioned throughout this journey is that there have been struggles with mental health, with kind of some of the challenges through work, but I'm sure there are ones also through the entrepreneurial journey. So could you share whatever you feel comfortable? Like, how have you navigated your mental health as an entrepreneur to also show up resilient? Because I'm sure there's unique challenges there too.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And the entrepreneurial journey, everybody wants it to be this constant uphill linear journey, but the reality is along the way there are peaks and troughs, and then there's the peak, and then there are 3 troughs, and then there's another peak. And that's just the reality of what it is. And as we said, not to overuse the word, but resilience and determination and what I consider to be the most important things in business, because if you don't have a resilient mindset, you're someone that will give up at the first hurdle if you've not got that staying power to continue. And so, as we've already said, for me, a lot of it is going back to your why and your purpose and why you're doing this and why you're so passionate about the work you do. But also think about in a day-to-day life, what are things that you really love, that light you up, that help you focus and also stay motivated. So for example, like for me, I love fitness, I love exercise, I love working out. And so for me, reflection really helps. So as I said, going on all of my walks every day, I'm massively into fitness, and with the nature of the work I do, it's a lot about mental training and resilience as well. With a lot of HIIT classes, they really, giving you that those motivational talks. I look in the mirror and you came here today and you've done the hard part, you've got to keep going. And this really does train you. And it's 3 years of doing this. It has been really instrumental in mastering my mindset. But for me, going out walking and having the time, because I love walking anyway, but having the time to really reflect on everything, on my progress, reminding yourself of how far you've come. Again, I literally the day before did a post on this. If it's so easy to look at all these people further ahead and think, I want to be there right now, but where you're at, you really need to celebrate it, because you need to celebrate how far you've come already. You also need to celebrate the fact that people behind you in the journey are looking up, only wishing that they were where you're at right now. But it's so impossible for you to see it when you're impatient to get to that next level. So it really is about, for me, that's a big thing is, as we say, going out and doing things in your daily life that you enjoy doing, that allow you to stay focused and happy and balanced, but also reminding yourself every time, like if it needs you to sit down once a week and say, I'm going to write down everything I've achieved this week to remind myself of how far I've come. Do it, because that's the biggest reminder, is proof of concept with yourself. When you keep seeing results, you'll be like, I can do this, I've got this. And also just being kind to yourself and understanding that no one's immune. Like, it's peaks and troughs for everyone. You're not the only person that has the down moments. So just accepting that this is a part of being a business owner and rolling with it.
Yeah. So I think each strategy is as unique as you are. And I love you sharing the points of reflection, different things that help you build resilience, because it is true. We're only as successful as our mind allows us to be. And the foundation that we create for the mind is going to be very powerful. And I'm now curious to wrap up. What are you most excited for ahead? Are there any big goals that you're really aspiring to, or just things that make you really thrilled as you think about? You mentioned there's a program coming for Black Friday, but anything else you want to share that's kind of top of mind for you on your heart?
Yes, many. This year has been pivotal in my business, and 2024 is going to be even bigger. And my visions for 2024 are a lot about visibility. So more kind of PR stuff, doing more paid speaking gigs, increasing the visibility, growing my own in-person business events to do more in London and more abroad, and to do them more frequently as well. More media opportunities, so podcasts, getting myself featured in the media, but also yeah, here we go. But also more in-person stuff. And this is a really big realization that I've had recently, is I love building an online business where you have the flexibility. But as somebody who is very sociable, who loves connecting with people, I really realized being back in London, because as I, for those of you who don't know, I moved over to Tel Aviv last year, but my market is more North America and the UK. And when I'm in Tel Aviv, I have the best life and I build a business online, but I felt like there have been fewer in-person opportunities. And so while I'm in London at the moment, I am just doing so much networking. I'm starting to host my own networking and business lunches, and I just love it. So for me, that's been a massive mindset shift over the last few weeks, is that I just want to do more in-person stuff. So more in-person, workshops and goal setting days, and more meetups and hosting networking events. So that's been a really powerful thing for me to recognize that that's my strength, is being in person, and I want to do more of it because I love it.
I am so excited for what the future has in store for you. And I know that through, following you for a while on LinkedIn, you're going to share all your learnings along the way. I know that you're going to keep inspiring us and sharing everything that's challenging and rewarding down the journey. So if you haven't followed Grace on LinkedIn yet, please find her, Grace Lancer. We'll have all the links over here. And just for everybody listening, thank you so much for investing in yourself today. Thank you so much for taking the time to follow this journey. And wherever you are, if you're a coach or not, just understand that it has its challenges. It's not going to be perfect, but you can keep learning and growing along the way and have these new inspirations that are coming to you. And guys, here at Right Off Track, we have 3 rapid fire questions. So whenever you're ready, we'll fire away.
Let's go.
Okay. First, favorite book that has influenced your business mindset?
Oh, wait, sorry, say again.
No worries. Favorite book that has influenced your business mindset, or favorite book?
One favorite book. I loved the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read it years ago and I need to read it again. I remember at the time being like, wow, this is great.
Okay. First thing you do in the morning to set the day for success?
I jump out of bed. I mean, first thing I do here is I have a cup of tea, but I start my day with exercise. So whether it's a walk or a run, exercise is what gets me in a good headspace before I start work.
Perfect. Okay. In the positive context, going off track is?
So wait, what does that mean?
What do you think? So the title of the podcast is Right Off Track. So ask, in the positive context, what does off track mean to you? Going off track mean to you?
Okay. So to me, going off track is really having that confidence to be that leader, to do something different, to really stand up for what you believe in, and we've come full circle, but to really have that confidence to just go out there and do whatever you want to do and not worry about what people think about you, just staying in your own lane and focusing on your own goals and dreams.
Perfect. And what's funny is that when you do that, you actually serve others better too. But guys, this has been lovely. And I just want to take this space to also share that I am supporting the amazing nonprofit Ready to Empower, which empowers women worldwide. They have been around for 10 years. And this year they're raising $50,000, 100% of which all goes to operations. And so if you feel inspired to do something good in the world, just share $1, $5, whatever feels right in your heart on the link below. I'd be so grateful. Guys, any final words for our audience before we wrap up?
My final words are really go for it. Set yourself a vision and do not give up until you reach it. Entrepreneurship is difficult, but if it was easy, everyone would do it. And the focus is being in that 1%. And the 1% are the most resilient people who don't give up. They're so focused on the prize that they'll do anything that they can to achieve it. And I want the same for you, so that you can live your ultimate dream life.
Oh, thank you, Grace. You're amazing. Thank you for bringing the energy. Everybody, get inspired by this energy. Bring it into your game, and let's take over the world together. And thank you so much for coming right off track with us. Until next time.
Bye.